morning. Today I will be presenting about my professional practice experience in traditional credit union. My name is Cherubay Imlimpio and I'm a Master of Professional Accounting student here at Charles Darwin University. First, we will be discussing about the introduction of traditional credit union, its organizational structure, it's my internship role and duties, the skills that I have acquired, my strengths, my weaknesses, the achievements that I was able to achieve, the conclusion, and my references. Traditional Credit Union is the only Indigenous-owned credit union here in Australia. It is a credit union which caters to the Aboriginal people here in Northern Territory. It is established in 1994, wherein a group of Aboriginal elders come together to make a financial solution for people who lives in the Arnhem land communities wherein banking is hard to find. 80% of the staff comes from the Indigenous community because TCU sees to it that the members understand the communities because they come from the same communities, so the people understand. The language is being spoken with, so communication would not be hard, and that the staff would be able to relate to the Aboriginal people. 90% of the members are Aboriginal people because this is the aim of TCU to provide financial and banking services to the people who lives in the remote area of the Northern Territory. The organizational background of traditional credit union is headed by the board of directors. So the board of directors creates a policy, creates a board resolution, whether there is a need for them to change a policy that would affect the whole organization. And then it is the chief executive officer who reports directly to the board of directors with regards to the whole operation, to the whole financial system of the traditional credit union. Next in line with the CEO or the Chief Executive Officer is the General Managers for Operations, then the Chief Financial Officer and the Human Resource Officer. The Chief Financial Officer, this is the accounts team where I was able to work with. The Chief Financial Officer has two people, which is the assistant accountant and the accounts clerk. My roles and duties as a TCU or CDU internship student are the daily statements, daily report checks, invoices, reconciliations, end of month, and other duties. For the daily statements, I was able to do the journalization for ATM reimbursements for day-to-day basis. So what I do with the daily statements is that before the previous day is what I will journalize on how much was the ATM reimbursement, how much was the charge, how much was the transfer. So those are the transactions being done on the daily statements, which are all INDU statements because this is the third party of TCU, the INDU. And next is the daily report checks. The task here is to check whether the previous day transactions are all balanced. So before the day started, there should be a start of the day procedure wherein everything is checked and balanced. And whether the INDU statements or the INDU accounts account amount is not below the minimum amount and does not exceed the maximum amount. Next is the invoices. Invoices are the things that would be encoded into the accounts payable. So what I do with the invoices is that I checked whether these invoices are already encoded or whether the invoices are already paid. Also checking whether the terms of the invoices is 7-day payment, 14 days payment, or the month payment. And in invoices, I do have to make it prepare it for signatures for the authorized signatory so that after the signatures, these invoices will then be encoded into the system as accounts payable. Reconciliations, so after the daily statements, I do reconciliations which is this one. This is a reconciliation format for the TCU that they use. Reconciliations for the injury statements, reconciliations for the ATM reimbursements are all those things that I have done. And for the end of the month, I was able to check the daily cash in hand of the branches that they have. They have like 12 branches that I was able to check, but so far, according to the accounts team, they have more than 12 branches that is operating. But for the meantime, I was able to check 12 branches that I did for the end of month. And I was also able to make supporting documents for the end of month reporting for the financial analysis. And the other duties is that I was able to create a spreadsheet for the CEO for him to be able to utilize in the annual general meeting as a report for the ATM transactions. So those are my skills. This is my skills acquired. I was able to enhance more on my Microsoft skills, wherein the formula generation and creation was what I did. That is when I was able to do it for the CEO for his report for the annual general meeting. And the Ultra Data System, I was able to learn how to make journals in the Ultra Data System. I was able to learn how to encode the invoices in the Ultra Data System and how to check whether the invoices are already paid or whether our invoices are already encoded or whether they are still not existent into the system. And the follow-up ticks is where we would generate all the reports that was done in the previous days or that was done within the day. So in the follow-up ticks, everything is a report generation. And I was able to learn from it on where to get this kind of report, where do I get this kind of information, whether those information or those invoices are already paid through the generation of this report. And I was also able to see or have a glimpse of HR3 payroll processing because I was already able to see it on the last pay period day on my placement terms. These are my strengths. I tried to be a fast learner as fast as I could because the tasks are really, for me, it's really most on finances. I do want to help the team as fast as I could and as quality of the work as I could. So I tried to learn fast. I tried to do tasks ahead of time, so that I would be able to be proactive in the team and I would be able to be productive as well. Adaptable. It was not that hard to adapt in the working environment at TCU because the people in there is very warm. And the people in TCU or Traditional Credit Union really helps you do things. They would give you a good time for you to understand things. The training is always good, so the training is very good. So I was able to adapt quickly. I was able to learn things fast because the people are very nice and the people are very warm. They helped me a lot on all the things that I have done for them and all the reports that I was able to do. And the completion of tasks, I always see to it that the tasks are completed ahead of time that is given to me so that I would be able to help them with more tasks that they are doing. And also as well, if I would be able, I always have this mentality that if I would be able to complete a task ahead of time, it's like I learn new things and then ask for more tasks. I learn new things ahead. Like new things, new learnings would always make you and develop your skills as an individual and as a professional. Positive attitude, I always have this positive attitude. It's because of that I am always eager to learn more. I want to learn new skills. I want to embrace what is given to me. to embrace all the challenges. It's because of that. It's the only way that we could learn to have that positive attitude that we can make it. That there's always a possibility of doing things right and doing things the quality way. Reliable and dependable. I always wanted my work would be relied to, that they are accurate, that they are correct, and that if there are errors, it would be immaterial, or it does not make a big impact to the whole production of the reports, or to the whole operations. So I always would want to be reliable and dependable. That wherein if ever the boss is not there, or the supervisor is not there, I could always do the task on my own. And ethical and professional manner is a very helpful strengths that I have acquired in the placement. It's because of that. In the work environment, you should always be ethical. You should always know what is right. Not just for you, not just in the work, but everywhere you go, we should always be ethical. And we should always be professional. We should always have this manner. As an individual, as a professional. Wherever we go, we should always do what is right, even if no one is staring, or even if no one is looking at us. And we should always be professional by, say for example, not being late to any appointments, always on time, and doing all the tasks that you are assigned to do. So this is my weakness: composition of thoughts for better communication within the team. I have always had this weakness within me, even when I was working back home, even when I was studying back home. I always have this problem with my composition of thoughts. So what I did with TCU, since it's more of a new environment for me, at first I did write in the paper all the things that I want to ask, all the clarifications that I want to ask for a certain task. So I write it in a paper, and then when I'm happy with the writings that I made, I approach the person, I approach the supervisor, and then I talk to her in the manner that I wanted to speak, or I wanted to speak my mind on the correct things that I would want to get answers. So I think that is the key for me to be able to resolve this weakness that I have. And for my achievements, this is, for me, I'm very proud for these achievements, is that I was able to contribute and accomplish an Excel report for the CEO to be utilized and presented to the Board of Directors at the annual general meeting. This report, this Excel report, was an ATM transactions that is existent in the 30 ATM machines located here in Northern Territory, including in the most remote areas. So the analysis of this report is to know, or to be able to analyze how many are members and how many are non-members, how many is the actual percentage of the members' utilization of the ATM machines that have contributed to the income of the credit union. So my conclusion is that as an intern student, or as a placement student in a working environment, there should always be professional behavior and manner. It is very important. It's because of that being professional would always lead you to a right way. Being professional, like as what I have said, not being late. If there are changes to the schedule, always inform the supervisor about the changes. If you're unavailable to do a task, or if you're unavailable to report, you should always inform the supervisor ahead of the reasons why you are not coming in, of the reasons why you will be late, and all those sorts of things. And as well as professional behavior and manner also would count to you as an individual, that you are doing things rightly, and that you respect other people as well. Opportunity to learn. In the placement, in the work environment area, there is always an opportunity to learn, even if how small the task is, even if it's just scanning, even if it's just copying, even if just fax or email. There is still opportunity to learn. You will know how to operate those kinds of things. You will know how to operate those kinds of technology that is being offered to you or provided to you. So it always adds up to your skills as a professional and as an individual. Communication is the key. Communicate. Always communicate. Whatever questions that you want to ask, whatever things that you want to clarify, you always have to ask. You always have to communicate, because if you will not communicate, people will not be able to understand what you're going through, and they will just assume that you know what you're doing, even if you already have some struggling inside. So you need to communicate whatever you're going through in a certain task or in a certain problems that you have encountered, not just in the work but also in your personal life as well. Improve competency. When there is opportunity to learn, you will always improve your competency as a person and as a professional. If you are willing to learn, you are also willing to improve your competency. That is what positive attitude and opportunity to learn, learning new things, trying to do things ahead of time in order to learn more, in order to gain more skills, in order to gain more learnings is a very good thing to do. So it would always lead to improved competency. Quality of work. Even if how efficient you are to whatever you are doing, if there's no quality, then it's not effective. You should always have, I always put this in my mind, that quality of work means that there is no minimum to zero errors as much as possible. Because in what we are doing in the accounts team is more on the finances of the traditional credit union. So any error with it, any small amount to it would affect the whole finances of the traditional credit union. So there's always a quality of work in each thing that we do. And that checking and verifying, checking that everything is good, everything is correct, everything is accurate is also a quality of work. So this is my references. It's www.tcu.com.au. And that's all for my presentation for today, and have a blessed and wonderful day. Thank you.